Hello and welcome to Catholic News Roundup. I'm Christine Niles. Today's February 27th, 2026. Here are this week's top stories. A pro-abortion prof is withdrawing her appointment at the University of Notre Dame. The Catholic school announced Thursday that Susan Osterman, appointed to head the Liu Institute of Asian Studies, has chosen not to accept the appointment. This comes after months of backlash, with nearly 20 bishops publicly condemning the appointment, including Hong Kong Cardinal Joseph Zen, Winona Rochester Bishop Robert Barron, and New York's Cardinal Timothy Dolan, among others. Osterman is a vocal abortion supporter, accusing pro-lifers of being rooted in white supremacy and claiming pro-life pregnancy centers spout propaganda. According to The Pillar, many more bishops privately voiced concerns to University President Father Robert Dowd, who was blindsided by the appointment. Those responsible were actually Mary Gallagher, Dean of the Coe School of Global Affairs, and University Provost John McGreevy. And in Ireland, some disturbing news. Since 2019, 108 babies have been born alive and left to die after botched abortions. The figures come from the most recent report from the National Perinatal Epidemiology Center, revealing that the vast majority of these deaths occurred for babies born between 22 and 27 weeks gestation, when they would have been viable outside the womb. Ireland's Minister for Health has failed to provide details about the care provided for these babies after birth, with a number of doctors admitting they have no policy for providing comfort care for such babies. Pro-Life Campaign of Ireland writes, "It is truly shocking that in Ireland today, babies are being treated in this barbaric and inhumane manner." In better news, an assisted suicide bill in the UK is officially dead. After several rounds of debate, members of the House of Lords are no longer committing time to discussing the bill, effectively killing it. Right to Life UK reports that 131 peers have spoken against it, among some of the highest numbers recorded in opposition to any bill. Parliament initially voted in favor of the bill in June 2025, with Prime Minister Keir Starmer backing the measure. It was expected to pass in the House of Lords, and so the announcement that it's dead has come as a great disappointment for pro-death advocates. And in church news, 2 Vatican cardinals are urging the SSPX to stay in the bark of Peter. After the Society of St. Pius X rejected Rome's offer of dialogue, confirming it will go ahead with bishop consecrations without papal mandate, both Cardinal Gerhard Müller and Robert Sarah weighed in. On Saturday, Müller, the Vatican's former doctrine chief, urged the SSPX to fight for the church from within. Quote, "But even in the 2,000-year history of the church, heresies from Arianism to modernism were overcome only by those who remained in the church and did not stray from the side of the Pope." On Sunday, Sarah, former Vatican head of divine worship, urged the same. Quote, "I know how much the deposit of faith is sometimes despised today by those very people whose mission it is to defend it. But I also know, and I firmly believe, that at the heart of the Catholic faith is our mission to follow Christ, who became obedient unto death. Can we really do without following Christ in his humility to the cross? Is it not a betrayal of tradition to resort to human means to maintain our works, even if they are good?" Bishop Athanasius Schneider, however, is appealing to Pope Leo to accept the episcopal consecrations without conditions and, quote, "be a true bridge builder." But Italian writer Luisello Scorsati responded to Schneider, writing that asking the Pope to authorize episcopal consecrations without the guarantee that the ministry of those bishops will be exercised in hierarchical communion is tantamount to asking him to approve a schism. Turning to Vermont, a legal victory for Christian foster parents. Last week, state officials dropped the requirement that foster parents affirm gender ideology in order to be licensed. This comes after 2 Christian foster parents sued the state for violating their First Amendment right to religious freedom.
So we got a phone call, and in that phone call we were asked things like, could we use inaccurate pronouns? Would we take a child to a pride parade? I said, no, we just cannot go against our faith. We cannot do things like that.
So because you hold Christian beliefs and you're potentially not willing to take them to pride parades or use preferred pronouns, you are unfit to be foster parents.
Yeah, that's what the state had identified.
Alliance Defending Freedom, which represents the parents, is celebrating the victory. Quote, "We commend Vermont for respecting the religious diversity of foster parents and ending its exclusionary policy that deprived children of opportunities to find loving homes." The White House is doing damage control after controversial remarks by U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee. During an interview last week with Tucker Carlson, the ambassador to Israel said the country has a divine right to the entire Middle East.
So God gave that land to his people, the Jews, or he didn't. You're saying he did. What does that mean? Does Israel have the right to that land? Because you're appealing to Genesis.
Yeah.
You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all.
More than a dozen countries reacted, including Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates, among others, condemning his remarks. White House officials were busy doing damage control, assuring leaders that Huckabee's comments do not represent U.S. foreign policy. Per one State Department official, quote, "He doesn't represent our views and doesn't represent the best version of the pro-Israel position." Some speculate the major gaffe may have halted impending war with Iran for now, a war that Middle Eastern countries view as the U.S. waging on behalf of Israel. And in Mexico, clergy are invoking the power of the Holy Eucharist. On Sunday, Mexican security forces, with the help of the U.S., killed the country's most wanted drug lord, Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho. Chaos ensued as cartel members retaliated, setting cars on fire, putting up roadblocks, and killing 25 Mexican security officials. Nearly 60 people total have died. In the midst of the violence, priests climbed onto rooftops with the Holy Eucharist, praying for peace to return to the country. The bishops of Mexico are also calling for peace, imploring Our Lady of Guadalupe to, quote, "cover us with her mantle, protect our families, and help us build paths of justice, peace, and hope." That is this week's Catholic News Roundup. Please go to stellamaris.media to sign up to our email list for the latest news and updates. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. May God bless your week. I'm Christine Niles.